All right, Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praise, glory, and honor that is due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Chahak, Wadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who were well, peace, and blessing to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect, Shalom, Barakathum. And this is going to be a quick, exhortation or positive reinforcement. I was going to title this, "The Curses That We Put Up Are Working." The Lord is acting on our behalf. All right, even though we can't see it, the Lord is doing it. And the thing that brings this to mind is the developments that have happened over there in the land of, where the bastards dwell. Well, I'll just say that. All right, because Hezbollah, all right, is putting a hurting on our enemies, and all of the other groups are putting a hurting on our enemies, and everything is basically collapsing, man. All right, so the curses that we put up, all right, those are being put into full effect right now as we speak, as the scriptures say in Deuteronomy the 30th chapter, that there will become a time where the curses would come off of us and they would go on to our enemies. And this is exactly what we're seeing, because now that nation over there, they're experiencing economic hardship now. Everybody has abandoned them. All right. And what you're starting to see is the prophecies basically unfolded exactly how the scripture said that they would. And what's part of the proof of that is they're isolated. When you look at the UN vote, 90% of those people, these other nations, believe that that Israel and Palestine should have their own separate, states. All right, but why don't they have their own separate state? Is entirely because of America and Israel, because Israel is dragging America right down into its mess. So whatever Israel does, America basically has to come back behind them and clean it up. All right, and now you know why the scripture, "the least of the flock shall draw them out," was written, because this is that scenario playing out. See, the people are trying to make sense about, why are you letting Israel do this? Why are you letting Netanyahu? Because y'all don't understand the order of things. Y'all don't understand who's in charge of who. Y'all think American politics is what they tell you on television, at face value, but there's a real organization behind all of these entities that you see on television, CNN, ABC, and all of that. All right, and those things are playing out right now as we speak, because among those 90 countries, 90% of those countries, all right, a lot of them had economic or business deals with them, man. One example is Colombia. Colombia supplies coal for power over there. All right, now they're basically mainly relying on natural gas, but they still are reliant on coal. And Colombia has basically said, listen, as long as you're doing that campaign you're doing over there, all right, basically we're not gonna give you any more coal. All right, so they've been shut out. Intel, which is a chip maker, all right, they make computer chips and all of that. $25 billion plant. They just called it quits. They shut it down. They're like, we don't want anything to do with this, man. All of the bonds that back up their retirement, everybody is basically bailed out of it. And the only reason their economy is still afloat is because they were able to divert the money that their retirement is backed on into other currencies in other areas, because they're collapsing, man. All right, and so all of these small hats stateside, what they are seeing, this tension brew up in America. All right, they in the back of their mind, they're thinking, well, worst case scenario, if it all breaks, all hell breaks loose here in America, I could just go over there to Israel. Well, it turns out, lots and lots and lots of them are fleeing that land. All right, why are they fleeing that land? Because Netanyahu, that psycho, is starting a war to the north in Lebanon which, if you know who's in Lebanon, that's Hezbollah there. All right, and they will absolutely fuck these people up, man. They definitely will do that. They're about it, okay? And then, but then it doesn't stop there. They're also antagonizing Iran and Iraq, okay? They're antagonizing Yemen, you see? So there is no making sense of it. This is prophecy playing out that this guy can't help himself, man. All right, that's Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. He's gonna keep going and going and going until you're at World War III, and it ain't nothing you're gonna be able to do about it. All right. And when these people, you know, try to flee, the Most High's already gonna have something in place for them. You know. So although our day-to-day lives, you know, they're mundane, you know, they're vexations we gotta experience in the flesh. Hey, just remember, man, the Lord is working on our behalf, man. Our enemies are going through it, just like we're going through it. And honestly, I believe that we're past the threshold where we're catching more hell than those people, man. Honestly, we're still catching our hell, but the rest of these people, they're catching it worse than us, man. You know, we go through things, but a lot of people, man, you know, self-deletion rates are up. All right, credit card debt is up at an all-time high, man. All right, and so, you know, you got all of these things that are indicators that, you know, people are not in good case, and then you have the real economic bomb hasn't really hit, man. Runaway inflation hasn't even hit yet. So when this guy tries to enact this plan, people are gonna be through. All right, and that's kind of how Esau wants everyone in a state of second guessing. He wants people to be afraid, because then you need him to be your higher power. See, the government's real power, okay, is in convincing you that you need them. Okay, once you become convinced that you don't need them, well, they lose their power, even with the military. All right, 300 million people on this side, stateside, they can't defend against that, you know. And so what's gonna happen is people are gonna get scared. They're gonna take that charagma. Esau's gonna have the solution already. Magically, it's already gonna be laid out, you know. And then what's gonna happen? A lot of you people that second guessed, that waited, that sat on your hands, all right, you're gonna be wondering what's next. All right. Well, we've been telling you what's next. All right, and just lock in and get into the spirit and take what we're going through cheerfully, man, even though it may be difficult, because the Lord is moving. All right, he is doing things out there in the earth, man, and this is why it's a pleasure to watch and to warn, you know, for the sincere Akim and Aqua, for the sisters out there. Okay, so we're almost out of this thing, man. We're gonna obviously be watching this thing closely, because I will be shocked, man, if we make it to the election. Honestly, man, like this thing may blow open where they just said we ain't holding an election, you know. So we'll see. Lord willing, this is edifying. Shalom.